Restaurants like Fleming's behind me and businesses all across Los Angeles are certified by the Better Business Bureau. However, according to reports, some of those certifications could have been bought instead of earned. Here at Dallas City Hall, Set Free Deliverance Church and representatives of the Dallas City Council are meeting together to unmuddle the mess from a recent property purchase by the church for $25,000. And the UCLA students didn't just stop at support and letters to the Boston Marathoners. They've also set up blood donations to be given to the Ronald Reagan Medical Center. $1.8 million was spent last year cleaning up the city. However, Caltrans efforts are more than just a beautification process for streets like this. It's an effort to make it safer for drivers. Dr. Jackson played key roles in the construction of the International Residential College at Parkside, the refurbishing project at the Lions Center, and even the construction of the Ronald Tudor Campus Center behind me. In any case between the state laws and federal laws, the federal rules will always reign supreme. The DEA, or Drug Enforcement Agency, can make arrests on marijuana charges because of the Controlled Substance Act. He was killed when a car ran a red light and struck the passenger side of the Ford Mustang where he was sitting. There will be various speakers throughout the service, including the dean of the Viterbi School of Engineering, where he was studying electrical engineering. To conclude the services, his father will be the last speaker.
Bruins for Boston, run at noon. Please come show your support.
UCLA students pounded the pavement to show their support for the Boston Marathoners. The symbolic 15-minute walk through campus was inspired by Boston's coming together after the tragedy.
And I think that's been one of the most positive things about this whole ordeal, is that sense of community that they found that we're trying to support and find here as well, to kind of express our sentiments and, just lend them whatever we can give them.
The walk began in the Bruin Plaza, where the Student Council Association had a table set up for students to write letters to marathoners. Though the letters were addressed to Boston in general, some students from the Boston area said the letters were still personal.
Whatever support we can get is really nice, just to know that everyone is thinking of us. And these type of events are really horrific, but I guess it does bring out a lot of good in people. Even here you can see people come together really quickly.
And the UCLA students didn't just stop at support and letters to the Boston Marathoners. They've also set up blood donations to be given to the Ronald Reagan Medical Center here at UCLA in honor of the marathoners who kept running all the way to give their donations after the blast.
And an event like this, where we can take a symbolic stance for something across the country, but be able to have an enormous amount of people actually helping our community here today, that impact is tremendous for our local community.
More than 60 students signed up to donate blood today, and the drive will last all week. Chelsea Goss, ATVN.
No.
Eric Calhoun is one of USC's biggest fans. He's been coming to the home games since 1997 and has only missed 1 or 2 games each season. But for every game Eric has attended, he's never actually seen the Trojans play. That's because Eric is blind. Eric has been blind his entire life, but when he heard a radio broadcast of the Trojans playing Arizona in 1997, he fell in love and soon found a home away from home here at Dado Fields. It's no easy task for Eric to get to the field. He takes 3 different buses for upwards of an hour to get to the ballpark. And he's willing to make the journey bundled up tightly in his coat and hood, even on the coldest nights.
Whenever I am on the buses, it's really, really hard. Sometimes people push me around. At the ballpark, I don't have to really worry about it. It feels like relief. I'm really relieved. It's really relieved of my duties. I can fire myself from having to deal with this type of stuff just for one day.
Even Eric's mother knows how much the games mean to him.
Yeah, if it was pouring down rain today, he would have been there. That's how dedicated of a fan he is.
A dedicated fan that fellow fans say has now become a part of the experience.
This is the guy who sits in the stand at his radio next to him. He's always got a smile on his face, and he's always cheering for the Trojans, whether it's 11-0 or 12-5 us. He's just always there for you.
I mean, he's a part of the package deal when you buy a ticket, so he comes with the games.
Not only a friend of the fans who he uses for help and updates during the games, but the entire team as well. Eric even received a baseball from starting pitcher Andrew Triggs as a gift for his birthday.
Thank you.
After every game, Eric returns to the bus stop and makes the long journey home, looking forward to the next bus that will take him back out to the ball game. This is Chelsea Goss, ATVN. Medical marijuana dispensaries may be losing business very soon, but not for lack of customers. The U.S. Attorney of Los Angeles says they're cracking down on the dispensaries.
Forgetting California law for a moment, under federal law, the possession, cultivation, transportation, anything to do with marijuana is illegal, period.
In any case between the state laws and federal laws, the federal rules will always reign supreme. The DEA, or Drug Enforcement Agency, can make arrests on marijuana charges because of the Controlled Substance Act. And in that act, it says that marijuana is still considered a controlled substance along the same lines as heroin or cocaine.
So this classification is not scientifically valid, it's not reasonable, and yet it's the law. And while people have been trying very hard since 1970 to get marijuana reclassified or removed from the Controlled Substances Act altogether, there are politics involved. And Congress could do it, but they've just decided not to.
There are over 1,000 dispensaries in Los Angeles County, and the U.S. Attorney's Office says they plan on shutting them all down within a year and a half.
So we have targeted these commercial marijuana operations, both because they're illegal in all circumstances under federal law, but it's also our position that the vast majority of operations, in fact, we have yet to see one that is not also in violation of California state law.
With the legitimacy of their business in question, dispensary owners are left to wonder whether they'll be the next target of a federal raid.
It's really hard and frustrating. It's not only for us, because we're trying to keep our jobs as security. Basically, it's harder for the patients.
The reaction that you get initially is if they're going to come after me.
Medical marijuana advocates say the argument between state and federal law is confusing and a waste of time.
It's absolutely counterproductive to have law enforcement coming in and busting people under federal law for activity that is legal under the state law or might be legal under the state law.
And what will this mean for medical marijuana users? Well, Jim DeMeo, who underwent shoulder surgery, is not happy about the chance of losing his choice of medication.
I could take Vicodin, I could take a lot of Advil, but the health risk, comparing Vicodin and the chemicals in there as opposed to marijuana is like night and day.
Despite the backlash, the U.S. Attorney's Office says they will continue their targeted approach to shutting the dispensaries down one at a time. Chelsea Goss, ATVN.